evening and welcome back to another video. So the market's been doing quite well for the last few days and things are looking promising. I think what's most substantial is the trading volume, and this article will elaborate on that. So global cryptocurrency trading volumes jumped to a 300-day highs. The total volume of all cryptocurrency trading as tracked by market metrics leader CoinMarketCap hit a 300-day high Tuesday, reaching $33.85 billion, the most observed in 10 months. As such, the data points is the latest to suggest that trading activity in the cryptocurrency markets is increasing. CoinMarketCap tracks the aggregate trading volume of 2,074 cryptocurrencies, including data about how they are being bought and sold across exchanges worldwide. So you've got your buys and sells, I'm assuming, and then you've got massive buys on Tuesday, which peaked at 33.85 billion. But the data hints that there may be more nuance at work than simply a market-wide surge. A large majority of yesterday's trading volume came from the 10 largest cryptocurrencies by market cap. The aggregate trade volume from the top 10 alone was roughly 30 billion, or 88% of all trading volume seen Tuesday. Bitcoin and Tether USD recorded 24-hour trade volumes above 9 billion, each accounting for roughly 27% in the 24-hour total. Still, this uptick in trading volume shows a renewed investor interest in the market, which perhaps should not come as a surprise, seeing as the value of the broader cryptocurrency market has increased roughly 12% in the last 7 days. That said, trading volumes are still a fraction of what was seen toward the end of the most recent bull market in 2017. The most trading volume ever recorded in a single day occurred January 4th, 2018, when just over 68 billion in cryptocurrency changed hands, an amount that's more than double of yesterday's total. Trading volumes are off to another strong start today, recording 29.8 billion at present time. Since the beginning of the week, 96.6 billion in total has been traded, which is already 68% of the volume recorded in the prior week, which at the same time there is a 9-month high. So I wanted to quickly look at the market, and I wanted to talk about a couple of things. So for a start, we're at 135 billion, so we've gone up roughly 16 billion. Volume is still very good at 29 billion. A couple of things here I want to talk about. So firstly, and I've been saying this and other people have been saying it, so it's not just my thoughts alone, the market will start shrinking in terms of where people put their money. And 88%, and if you forget Tether, 88%. So if you take 88% and let's just put Tether to one side, because I think the idea is people were starting to see massive gains in one day compared to traditional markets, so they quickly threw their money to Tether, and then they probably bought back into Bitcoin or the top 10, but it was Tether where they're holding just in case there was a bit of a pullback in price from going up that much with that much volume. And more notably, how strong the buys were. So I understand a lot of the sells or the sell-offs pricing was squeezed out of the market because there was too much strong buy. So for example, if you're not looking at the screen, May was, or coming up to May was a very strong day or days for sell-offs. if fact it's probably the highest for the year, and throughout the year you've probably got more strong sells than you have strong buys. But what you start noticing is the sells start getting smaller, and there's still a lot of them, but the buys are there, and more noticeably recently you've got a couple of days worth of strong buys, and we've not really had that. And that's what we need to see. That's what we need to continue to see now. So we want to make sure this is not just a one-off, and we continue. And the main thing is this 30 billion. In fact, it was more than that. Because if you look now, well, not now, I think it was on Tuesday itself, which was actually 35 billion we reached. So which, in fact, according to this article, we reached higher. So we reached 35 billion. This 68 billion was one day sell. I think roughly was around 45 to 50 billion was what we were trading in 2017 on regular days. 68 billion was a big day, and the potential lot of sell-off on that day as well when we did reach Bitcoin's high around January time. But this is all very good for the market, and we're hoping we continue. We believe the news might be because of JP Morgan's massive 360 swing in its opinion of cryptocurrencies, where it's planning to launch its own internal cryptocurrency, I should say. Not really, it's not a public blockchain, it's a private blockchain or private DLT. But if you could, they've seen one company do a massive 360 from what Jamie Dimon originally said in like 2017, 2018 about Bitcoin straight cryptocurrency, to now saying actually blockchain is fantastic, and now we're going to launch our own JPM coin. So obviously people looking at that, and they get that investor confidence in the cryptocurrency market, potentially, which is one of the reasons why we've had such a hike. And come Monday, we had massive gains on that day. Bitcoin is now hovering around $3,980. My point now needs to be whether we can crack 4,000. I did hear someone mention that we did crack 4,000, but I don't think we did. So let's look at the last 7 days. Did we actually crack 4,000? Oh yeah. So we cracked 4,000, but we couldn't hold on. So we cracked 4,000, and literally in about 10 minutes or so, we went back down. If I could just do it by the time. I cannot do it by a time like that, and that's annoying. So yeah, we cracked 4,000, but we didn't hold on to it long enough. So we kind of need to hold on to that price specifically, so we can continue upwards and move into the, like I said last time, so we can continue to move into the $4,200 mark, and we can get past that. But so far so good. We've done very, very well. And what I also want to note is if we look at the top 10 and we look at volume of the top 10, again, let's take Tether out of it. It's your usual suspects and the ones that we constantly keep talking about. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, EOS, which has done very well. I think EOS had around 2.5 billion. Bitcoin, Ethereum reached around 5.5 billion in trade volume on Tuesday. Litecoin, XRP, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum Classic, which is doing very well, even though we've had some sort of negative news from it. If we just put it back to the top 10, Tron is was moving quite well, but I think really the big ones which I'm looking at are the ones over $1 billion. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, EOS, Litecoin, and these are again the same currencies that we keep talking about. I mean, I don't talk about too much on this on this channel about Litecoin, but we know how much Litecoin is almost fundamental to Bitcoin in terms of a lot of testing goes on the Litecoin network before it hits the Bitcoin network. We believe they're going to implement Mimblewimble, and we expect at one point they're going to implement that on the Bitcoin network. But for me, really, it's those top four, the Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and EOS, which have really shown their massive potential. And for me, the biggest standout for me, again, purely down to its price, is XRP and EOS. They've both got very low prices compared to the top 5 or 6 in the market, but their trade volume is very, very high. If you take EOS example, its fourth coin on the list, with a $1.9 billion 24-hour volume, and compare it to Ethereum's $4.5 billion. If we are selling more, there's more trading per coin of EOS than there is of Ethereum. So based on price, if you were to divide $147, if you're going to divide $4.5 billion via $147, you would get the amount of Ethereum being traded. And similarly, if you do that with EOS, then you would obviously get the amount of EOS being traded. And I think, in fact, I just want to work that out just to see actually how much that would be, more for the fact that I'm more interested to look at how much more EOS is being sold. So for Ethereum, it would be 31 million, roughly 31 million EOS, Ethereum being moved back and forth. And if you do that for EOS, that would be 499 million EOS. So, of course, there's much more buying and selling going on with EOS, which means that the actual quantity is obviously larger, so much larger. That's why I give more value to EOS at the moment than Ethereum. But regardless, we're all very happy with what's going on, and as you can see, I didn't overlook that Ethereum is taking its number 2 position back again from XRP, and now is obviously sitting a comfortable $1.9 billion ahead of XRP, and they keep flipping. Often what we find is XRP is $2 billion ahead of Ethereum, and now we've flipped again. So you get almost this flipping going on between number 2 and 3, and at the moment Bitcoin is way in the distance with a $70 billion market cap. So at the moment, nothing touching Bitcoin, or not even close to touching Bitcoin at the moment, but certainly 2 and 3 keep changing hands very, very quickly. Anyway, never spend a little bit too much time on that article, but let's move on. Something fantastic just popped up on my screen, and I want to talk about it straight away. So, breaking: Samsung Galaxy S10 features built-in crypto support. So that's fantastic. Let me just get rid of this window. South Korean smartphone giant Samsung unveiled its long-awaited Samsung Galaxy S10 on Wednesday, and Bitcoin investors waited with breathless anticipation to learn whether the S10 would feature an integrated crypto wallet. Does Galaxy S10 include a Bitcoin wallet? Samsung confirmed today that it has integrated Samsung Knox. So Samsung Knox is sort of a security platform which you can use for corporates, so you can activate phones in a specific manner, but it can be used for other things. Into the S10, a feature which uses hardware security to store private keys for blockchain applications, including presumably cryptocurrency. Developers will be able to make use of the feature in creating hardware wallets via software. Anyone who owns an S10 will essentially have a hardware wallet. The Galaxy S10 is built with defense-grade Samsung Knox, as well as security storage backed by hardware, which houses your private keys for blockchain-enabled mobile services. CCN previously reported that Samsung Insider leaked photos. Yeah, I think we spoke about it, about showing photos of a Bitcoin wallet. So the Galaxy S10 is said to feature a Exynos 920 chip with a PUF technology, which IT expert Han Ho-yen said it would be the ideal processor for native cryptocurrency wallet. So I think the idea is companies like blockchain, even Coinbase, Binance, Bitfinex, people like that, let's just take blockchain, the app itself, they could make specific app for cryptocurrency for the Samsung S10, and which makes use of the Samsung Knox technology, so you can store your private keys on a hardware wallet. So it might be something which actually sits separately. So if it's going to store private keys, it might be a whole separate chip or chipset or something on the logic board which is separate to the system. Because obviously you don't want your phone hacked and then your private keys get taken away. So they're not explain how that actually works, but the fact that now they're integrating an ability to store private keys, and it doesn't say which ones. So technically, it could be any private keys you can store on the phone. So possibly, whether you would have a whole wallet or whether Samsung Pay enables Bitcoin payments or Ethereum or XRP, whatever payments via the phone. So this is fantastic news, and obviously the phone was also launched earlier today. And I would love to see photos or videos of this phone, and I can't wait to see videos of it in action and how they're going to use it, and what the long-term ambition is for this, and whether it'll be integrated into the main thing, or whether it's going to be integrated into Samsung Pay. And this then goes into the sort of conversation with Rakuten, which we spoke about the other day, the Japanese e-commerce website, about possibly having every payment option available, and one of them being cryptocurrency. So whether, if there was a Rakuten app and you're purchasing something from Rakuten and it asks you to pay via Samsung Pay, whether you can use your phone private key to pay Rakuten directly through the app into their ledger, so it's all linked to your account, so they know you've paid and they've got the money instantly, and then the goods are released and they obviously get delivered. So that's literally I'm just thinking in my head how you would integrate that with another app to pay for something else. So at the start it might just be third-party companies with their apps, but at some point I would expect, if Samsung are doing this, to at some point integrate this with Samsung Pay. It only makes sense if they're creating the hardware for it, they would then use it for the software. They're not going to create it and expect someone else to go and create software on top of it. Eventually they would do it. Whereas Apple do it the other way. They would only do it themselves first and then allow third parties. For example, Apple Pay, or the NFC chip on the iPhone, is at the moment only for Apple Pay. You can't use it to unlock your car or tap it on there to get customizations of your profiles for your phone. It only works with Apple Pay. So Apple will integrate anything themselves, and later on they will allow third party, just like they did with Siri. They only allowed themselves access to Siri, and now other apps can integrate themselves into Siri for certain actions. So Samsung might do it the other way. But this is generally fantastic news. I'm very glad to hear that. And we await with a bated breath of what's going to happen next. Once we get more information, once we get hands on this phone and see actual videos of how it works in action, and also the ambition for Samsung going forward with cryptocurrency. So yeah, fantastic. And let's move on. So I'll end with always great topic, ETF. So the SEC is now reviewing 2 Bitcoin ETF proposals. For the first time since August, there are now multiple Bitcoin exchange traded fund proposal sitting before the US Securities and Exchange Commission. The VanEck SolidX proposal filed by CBOE BZX Exchange has now appeared on Wednesday's edition of the Federal Register, officially kicking off a 45-day clock to initial decision. It joins another Bitcoin ETF proposal filed by Bitwise Asset Management with New York Stock Exchange ARCA, which was published in the Register last week. Gabor Gurbax, Director of Digital Asset Strategy at VanEck, told CoinDesk via email that he believes a Bitcoin ETF will serve the public interest if approved. Okay, so I don't need to read too much more about this, but again, we're back to where we were like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. We're still hanging on for this ETF, and we're not looking at what's going on in the market. I doubt the market increase was anything to do with this, because obviously this news is only coming today, the 20th. I doubt it was anything to do with that, and I doubt there's anything to do with whether it's going to get approved or not. You know, they have to get approval of just the filing, and then they have 45 days to make an initial decision. And what was it, 270 days or something they have before they need to give a final decision. So they can delay and delay and delay and delay and delay and delay, and then I think delay again before they have to give a decision, final decision. So they might just do what they did again and just wait 270 days, which is, you know, almost 3/4 of a year, or 4/5 of the year, before they give a decision, and whether there will be a decline. I mean, I don't want to talk about it too much. Whether we need it or don't need it, it seems to be something which is at the moment not going to lift us in further, especially in March, in April time. There are 45 days from today. Let's say if it gets approved, the filing, and we're looking at April time before we get a decision. So I don't want to spend too much time, and we've kind of gone over this a few times already, and so have other channels, and I think the consensus is the same. We are too reliant on the US government trying to give us something that they don't seem to be giving, and we should just leave it, and let's not talk about it until it happens and they've got the approval. Then we can all cheer and then realize afterwards we never needed it. And it's almost like sometimes when you want something so badly and people are telling you don't necessarily need it, and you still want it, and when you get it, then you realize you maybe didn't need it at all. And this might feel the same with the ETF. We waited so long for something, and once we get it, we're already in a bull market, and it doesn't really change much. So we'll wait. I won't be saying, I'll just wait and care not too much about this. Just something which I want to talk about. If people are interested in an ETF, now you know. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I'm extremely tired, very busy day, but great news about Samsung, fantastic news about the market, very happy that the market's going up. Can't wait to hear from what Samsung say. Can't wait to hear in the next couple of years what Apple will do with this, what they're going to do. They won't hang about if Samsung will do something now. Give it a year or 2 years before Apple integrate cryptocurrency into Apple Pay. So I'm looking forward to that in probably 2021 or 2020. So anyway, I'll leave it there. Please like and subscribe. See you guys on the next video. Thank you very much for listening.